All right, here we go. Show number 50 of Into the Cubieverse, and we are live.
Hi, the Cubieverse is a GPS-based game where you walk to get keys, use keys to open trivia vaults, answer trivia to earn rewards, and to use those rewards to enhance your in-game experience, or convert them into real-life rewards. Thank you for joining us tonight, and get ready as we take you into the Cubieverse.
Hey, there, gold miner.
Hi, atrocities. So, our friend Magic Dragon will be in later on tonight. It seems it's a bunch of O'Brien's birthday. We won't say her number if she's watching. She might not like that. But they are just out for family dinner. So they will be back shortly, and he will be joining us at that time.
All right.
So,
Well, hopefully we'll
how
see
was
him
your
tomorrow.
week? How was your week in the Cubieverse?
My week in the Cubieverse start off. Well, I'm gonna say it was kind of a casual week. I know it's really cold out there, so not doing a lot of walking this week. Um, I did have a great buddy quest with Goose after last week's show, so that was good. We left, we were able to cash in the loot code, and then go straight to the buddy quest, get that done. So that was sweet. So would definitely recommend Goose to anybody else that's looking for buddy quests. So that went well.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Sure.
You're cutting in and out for me to hear. So I'm not sure if there's an issue. I know it seems like everybody seems to say it's okay, the sound, but for me, and I'm still having a lot of feedback issues here. That was our delay.
Um, Chat says we're sounding good, so hopefully we can deal with it. Um, but I will be a little slower, so you can keep up with the
I'm
sound.
not sure it's you being slow enough for me to catch up, but or to keep up.
Right on. So other than that, I think we able to get a couple of um, Trade Shack runs that lined up with the uh, happy hour, which was really good. I think I got a payout on one or two of them. Not the ones or Trade Shacks I wanted to pay out, but it is what it is. But hey, I'm happy to get them out. So, but hey, Gold Miner, how was your week in the Cubieverse?
My week was pretty much the same as yours. Cold out. We not as much as we usually do. Um, Same thing with Trade Shacks. I think I got some dust. I did get, what was that one that I got? I got ooze, 1,000 corrupted ooze, which was amazing. I think I got more gold dust, an extra drop during happy hour. But that was about nothing too exciting.
Yeah, you got that great Corrupted Ooze double drop, so that was very nice. So, um,
Yeah, did have a buddy quest, and tonight I'm out for to do buddy quest last weekend. Out for another buddy quest tonight after this show ends. So um, this sound on my phone is awful, so I'm just gonna out and back in. Hopefully that will improve it.
sure, go right ahead, pop out and
Sorry.
pop back in, and so, for the question in the chat, when's Chinese New Year event? I believe it starts on the 29th, or that was uh, um, the last wording we had in regards to the Chinese New Year event being January 29th. As a start, I think the Hunter's Lodge is actually next week. Before that will be hopefully we'll get the firm details on it. So, but yeah, I think the event is lines up with the Chinese New Year this year. So, Gold Miner, say something. Let's hear the sound working.
Um, Also, Hawk, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a few weeks, but we have a loot code. We do have a loot code for tonight. See that in the comments. I don't know if you addressed that while I was off. I don't think you did.
No.
Um, So at the end of the show, we will give you guys, same as last week, 50 use code. So first come, first serve. First 50 that get it, congratulations.
Yeah.
So
I think it went pretty quick last week, and it was a great loot code too, right? 250.
yeah, it was.
So thanks, Illusion Weaver, for that great loot code. Hopefully this week's is good or better. But was it 250 scales, both types of scales and jade stones or so? Like, it was awesome. Did you recall?
Yeah, he outdid himself with it. I think this was quite the nice loot code, and as far as I'm aware, it's the same loot code this week as well. Not the same number, but the same items in the loot code.
Same items. So, yeah. And it went fast, right? Relatively fast, I thought. So, so yeah. So everybody, hopefully everybody that's watching will be able to get the cash in on that loot code before you pass it along or so. Or tell people to come to the show and watch it and get it right away. But it was a great code. So, but it's it's Chinese New Year stuff. Hey, we're here getting excited for Chinese New Year. Hopefully you need some of these resources, or these resources will give you a hand in the new year. So that being said, let's talk about the new CoinQuest with Bonk. What do you think of Bonk? Go Miner.
I'm still having a hard time hearing you because I can hear you from the other room. I can hear you on this partially code. It keeps cutting out, and it's in two different. It's not. One's in real time, one's in not. So I'm getting confused here. But Bonk, I think is what you said. What do I think? Here, bonk. I think.
Is it Bonk? I was like a
Bonk.
But okay, Bonk it is.
Done and over with. And we've already submitted our at the ATM. So very happy to. I don't want to say we done it, but it was relatively easy. Last time we battled the blue vault questions, and this time we thought, well, to hell with it. We're going to be opening enough vaults that we can fall in the white vaults. So that we did. We had a little bit of a flub where we went running out of half an hour, and we still weren't done it. So we missed half of the happy hour because we were finishing up the quest. And
yeah, because
then we
if you got an event active like Bonk, then you're on a different payout scale, and as a result, happy hour it's not affected by the happy hour, which we'd seen that in the chat and the comments, but didn't realize it until we had gone and we're ready to go. It's like, oh right, because that's why we're not getting our payouts as whatever. So had to rush through the a few vaults, finish that up before we could get in the happy hour bonus. As of right now, there are 581 people that have cashed out or submitted, so that's great. So on the way to 1,000, so that's really good. The one thing, as I said, or what we ended up doing was we just went with the white vaults. We stopped using the blues for the most part for this event. And the thing with it was you put in the white vault and you got, what was it, 750 Bonk? Gold miner? How many Bonk did we get?
I honestly can't hear a thing you're saying. And I did take my phone off of Wi-Fi hoping that would fix it, but no.
No. Okay. So we got 750 Bonk for one white key, or you would get that in addition to your resin and paint and Cubicoin, or you could put in one blue key, which is worth 10 white keys, and get 2,500 Bonk, and that's it. So I could get 3 white keys and get the same amount of Bonk as I would get with one blue key. Plus, the blues were a lot more difficult because they had these questions that were a heck of a lot more difficult. So we just decided to skip the blues, which is unfortunate because I liked the trivia. I missed it. So now we're hearing some feedback here.
What type of feedback are you hearing, Jenners? I can hear duplicate and it's in and out. Sound like I'm I can hear feedback by talking and
It's echoey.
yes.
Give me a second here. Does this work any better?
I can only hear you from the other room.
Would that help you at all then, or no?
I can't hear you at all.
Okay.
Except for from the other room. So yes, maybe actually it does.
Okay, let's try that. Hopefully, chats tells us that their sounds still come through fine. We'll find out. So yeah, I don't know. What did you think of the blue versus the white vault and the Bonk?
Myself, I preferred the white vaults. I just felt I didn't pre-read anything about Bonk. Bonk. I don't think it's Boink. It's Bonk. So I was just anytime I was answering a blue question or blue vault question, I was just guessing. So I was just going through blue keys, and I thought, 75. What was it? 75. 100. No, 100 vaults. White vaults is not a big deal to find and to do over that course of time. And I think we ended up completing it after what, 3 days, 2 days, 2 days. So it wasn't really a big deal. Like pretty easy peasy in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean we got it done pretty quick. I know we used a couple of blues trying to finish up the event so we could get on the happy hour, but otherwise, I thought it was pretty decent. So, but it's unfortunate that strategically, from a key use and resource point of view, I couldn't do the trivia because I wanted to do the trivia and learn about it, and that was kind of the thing. So, but hey, it's also nice to see them getting a. That's the third different coin in the CoinQuest. So that's a trend in the right direction as well. So hopefully it's a good coin.
Fine, but you can still hear you through my stream. Should we both try to shut some doors here?
Okay, let's give me a second and shut a door.
But you'll have to fix your sound because I can't hear you otherwise. And I shall return. I'm going to shut my door too.
Hey, I wouldn't be into the Cubieverse if we didn't have sound and technical issues, right? So, really weird though, because the setup is the same as
I can't hear you now.
Okay. So I'll talk and then you talk. How's that? Go ahead.
Can't hear you.
Talk. Go ahead. Say something.
Hi. I can't hear you saying anything.
Okay. As we sign back in, we'll see. The thing is, it's the same sound tech setup and whatnot that we had for a little while there. So
there.
Okay. All right.
And yes, I think the sound tech guy went away on vacation.
Really weird. Anyways, so but hey, once again, I'm not complaining. We got a new altcoin. That's great. I can appreciate different coins. That's great, and the fact that they're all using the same wallet that we set up a while ago to receive them is excellent. All right. So,
Mhm.
for sure. So, okay. Um, next thing here, they made a patch update or so to the game, and
Mhm.
we were out and we were talking with RX Wings, and RX Wings said, "Yeah, have you noticed the change at the patch? It takes forever to load now." I'm like, "No, I haven't seen this at all. Mine's working just fine." Well, next day, I get
She jinxed.
she jinxed us because I get to download and do the update, and yeah, same thing. Takes like forever to log into the game now. So, which is funny because
Apparently, it's going to be a patch for that coming up.
okay, now 15
Still
seconds.
very echoey here.
Okay, so hopefully it they get that fixed because I thought they had said that they changed the way the assets delivered and it should be much more seamless now and whatnot. And now we're into it takes forever the game load. And once the game loads, it seems like it runs fine. It's just that initial getting in. Plus, there are occasions where we were out this week and my game crashed on me. So I had to reset the game, and it took forever to log back in, which was a bad thing because in the past that has happened. The game has crashed on occasion. And it's like, okay, no problem. I can close it down and open up, pretty quick, and then Bob's your uncle. But this lag and opening is bad, I find. So hopefully it gets fixed because that I don't think was the intention of this update. It's supposed to address that. So Magic Dragon, what's your thoughts? There's no Magic Dragon, Gold Miner. It's over to you.
I can't hear you. It's cutting off. Maybe you need to text me.
I thought you had said you had resolved it.
No. So, what about the new for players who haven't logged in 4 months with all the trade shacks and user vaults and structures that they've built? I'm jumping. I don't know what you were talking about, so I'm just going into what I'm hoping you were talking about. Disappearing after the 4 months if it has been not logged into. How do you feel about that?
So I know there's a lot of controversy around that, for sure.
That is much better.
All right, good. Hopefully that resolves the issues. So my thought on it was that, and I understand that they don't want to have dead things in the game, but I think that's not the issue that they should be addressing right now, or shouldn't have been addressing that, right? I mean, it's not like for instance, locally, if we had thousands of players in the area and there was not, and like people were trying to find space to put structures in, then yeah, you want to kind of address that. But like right now, people open up areas and there's not enough structures in the game as it is. So in my opinion, putting in a system that gets rid of structures from inactive players is kind of not the way we should be going at this point, right?
I agree that we shouldn't be going that way at this point, but on the other side, I'm sure there are certain areas that don't have all the locations available and people would like them. But in all honesty, if I'm no longer playing the game and my 3 trade shacks are Atrocities, and I have our trade shacks all on a busy street, so it's we have 6 in a row basically. 100, how many meters does it have to be apart? 100? 200?
I think 200 meters or whatever, maybe it's 100.
So
I can't recall.
They're literally the minimum amount apart that they have to be. So it's just boom, 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 boom. And one would think that whether the person is an active player or not, wouldn't the current players much prefer to have all that stuff to use than have to rebuild everything from scratch? Like, I know I would prefer to use somebody else's stuff and also have mine built on top of that. But if you're starting off from scratch, if everything gets removed because you're in a small area or in an area where there's only 1 or 2 players, you're going to have to build all of this stuff, and it's going to make the game even harder for one to play.
And I think
Like,
that's a
to have that
common.
vending machine,
Go ahead.
sorry, to have like the vending machine and to have the trade shacks and to have the print shops, like if they're getting rid of all the print shops, what are you supposed to do? How can you build anything without having that print shop to stamp stamps or stamp the builds, right?
Right. And I think there's still some print shops, in-game print shops. I don't know. But you're right. If there's no in-game print shops and the advanced print shop in your area gets taken away, then there's no place to stamp unless they add that to the headquarters option. But I think like right now, a lot of the bigger issue is people log into the game and they're in areas where they're in virgin country and no one's around, so that they're trying to build up their structures. If someone had been playing in that area previously, and those structures disappeared, that doesn't help them at all, right? It's a setback. I know, like when we started playing Coin Hunt World, there were a lot of vaults around us that were actually in locations that we didn't think we could get vaults placed because I think they got a little bit more strict on vault locations from the beginning. So we knew these were like OG players that placed some of these vaults, and we got a significant advantage or a significant start in the game because these vaults were around. If those vaults had up and disappeared on us, that would have been kind of frustrating and a lot harder to get going in the game. And of course, now the thing about that is because when they transitioned from Coin Hunt World into the Cubieverse, all those vaults got permanently converted into system vaults. So,
and a lot of those players never made it over to Cubieverse from Coin Hunt World. Weren't even active players when we were playing back when we first started playing.
Yeah. So I mean, we basically, because of those, got converted into a permanent sort of advantage in our area. So I can see. So getting rid of those, I don't get what it is about that. Like, I should be able to, I don't know, maybe take over a spot after 4 months of a player that hasn't isn't playing. There should be some sort of maybe structure to take over, buyout structure or something like that, where I can convert it to mine, change of ownership. Rather than this, I'd prefer to see something like that. I do know that people were talking about structures that were built but not opened up as an issue in some places. And if they're not open, then I can see some of them being deleted. But at the same time, if all I have to do is log in every 3-4 months, maybe I just log in every 3 and 4 months, but never actually open those structures up. So it doesn't help at all.
Okay, but if you quit playing the game,
yep,
who's going to log in every 4 months? Like, if I quit playing the game, am I just going to log in every 4 months for the sake of the people playing in my area? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
So they're just
I don't care.
Likewise, as in if somebody else could buy them, like if you could buy another player's vault that's not an active player, or not vault, like Trade Shack or whatever, then they've got to lift the amount of trade shacks one can own. Or can you have 2 pizza shops? Like right now you can't, but if you if they lifted that, then yes, you could buy it. and almost like be able to buy it at the real estate side of
Right.
me coming out, fair market value,
Well, I would say
right?
though,
Like,
like you shouldn't be able to buy structures that go over your limit, right? Um, I can't. I shouldn't be able to. If I have 3 trade shacks, that's a limit. I shouldn't be able to go and buy a 4th trade shack from somebody else. But if I'm a new player and there is a structure that's, um, a trade shack that's out there that hasn't that from an inactive player, so the player likewise is inactive, so there may not be changing the QB that's staffing it and keeping it kind of up to date with stuff I want, then maybe I should be able to go in and take possession of that. Um,
but who says that? Like, why does somebody have to stack for trade shack to what you want? Like, if it's still just a basic blue QB or whatever in there, who cares? Like, who cares if that's not what you want? Like, and that's a bad example because that doesn't do anything but blue paint. But
well, no, it's a good example for this discussion
you
for
know,
sure.
there's lots of people that put in QBs. Like on our way to the Toronto event, we stopped in Oakville, and there was the Canada QB and the what was it, the Ice
Yeah,
QB,
like yeah,
and
very
both useless QBs for us to have in there. But teach his own. It's just we won't be driving out of the way to go pick that up.
for sure.
But like
But
I
if
understand what you're saying, but
but if the player's got inactive, maybe I can buy that out, right? And by buy it out, I'm thinking like, they want to, as the saying is now, they're going to delete the structure after 4 months, and return all the resources to the person. Well, maybe after 4 months, the thing puts a available sign on it, and I can go in and I can supply all the resources, and then
how
those
about a how about a little for sale sign in front of it?
right for sure for sale sign, and I can pay all the resources that would be needed. And those are the resources that actually go back to the old owner, and so then I just kind of take it over. Um,
Uh, Likewise, Rider Chick made a comment saying removing uncut makes sense, but removing ones that people play and currently use doesn't, which totally agree.
yeah, and I think
But
that's
like
kind
the
of what I'm
ones that,
saying, like for sure.
like the ones down in Toronto, I know there was a bunch of uncut ribbons, and there aren't any around here. I don't think. Well, there's a few down
A few,
that way, but that player played.
but yeah, they're kind of relatively new as well. Like I don't think they've been uncut for more than a
Yeah.
week or so. So,
Mhm.
um,
Hmm.
but yeah, like, and I think the thing is like the complaint was always people that structures were not open and you couldn't use them, right? It wasn't that people were like, hey, I want to build there. They said, no, I want to use that structure. And the response was, okay, well, it's an inactive player, so we're just going to delete it, which I don't know. Which doesn't make much sense. Likewise, um, if you've already, uh, you know, the resources go back to the original player, um, so the resources are still in the game, and then somebody else just goes and buys them. I don't see what's going on. Anyways, so I know
Well,
there's. Go ahead.
Janners is saying that it's all or none that she believes, and so those who have complained about the abandoned structures are the ones who got the response we should be thanking them for it.
Right.
So, and I don't know. I agree with the uncut. I just don't agree with the actively being used by other players.
Yeah.
Whether the owner is active or not.
Yeah. Like, and if, as I said, if we had thousands of players all fighting for real estate, then that's one situation. But we're not in that situation right now, so I think this is a little aggressive approach. May have been easiest to code. Maybe that's why they did it. They came up with a solution that way. I don't know. Likewise, like I know Rashud's got all those green vaults, right? And we heard about that.
Well, I think that it was announced that they're not doing the green vaults as of now.
Right. But
because
he's playing. The thing is,
I,
he's
I
playing.
got the impre- well, I got the impression that that was kind of pre-discussed. That hey, I'm in the process of trying to get them cut.
Yeah,
Which
he's
you know,
active. He's actively playing, right? So this shouldn't impact him. It's
yeah,
just in his case,
that's true.
data to change, and he just hasn't been able to get back to deal with all those, right? And but that sort of issue would be the complaint. I think a lot of players say is, hey, here was a structure that I used to be able to use, and now I can't, right? Which was not quite the same issue, but it's like, hey, there's a structure here that just hasn't been open. I want to, I want to use it. Not I want to build there, um, but
Well,
those,
we were somewhere, and you found a little tag in the middle of nowhere under the builders mode, and
right.
that was a player we'd never heard of, and you're like, "What are you trying to build here?" And what are you holding the place for? Um,
Yeah, right.
like
Yeah,
they've
I
never,
remember that
and we
because it was like Christmas because I was trying to place a snowman just
Christmas tree.
randomly, or a Christmas tree, and I just random, and I just looked in the builder mode, and there was like a structure there that somebody started the build. They must have thrown in the blueprint, but had not thrown any resources, so it wasn't even showing up on the map. It's like, hey, who's building this? And no one we'd had heard of. So I don't know. Maybe in that case, that's the sort of structure that should go back. I don't know. So we'll see. But anyways, so yeah, I know there's obviously some controversy around that. I don't necessarily know if anybody out there thinks this is the perfectly good solution at this point. As I said, I would agree with it if we were at a point where there's thousands of players all fighting for real estate, but we're not, right? We're still trying to grow and act and get, and there's lots of places to build, lots of spots to build, and really people want more structures on the map. And personally too, I find it exciting when I come across a new structure that I haven't seen before. Don't you agree?
Well, I think it's going to be totally detrimental to new players, especially if they're um, like one of only one or two players in a city. Like we don't visit the other side of the city because it's far enough away that we don't go there unless we have to. But even going to the other side of the city in London, you don't see anything, and it's very sparse on just regular system vaults. That if you started the game, for example, in South London, you would have no idea that all this stuff is in North London if you're not traveling across the city all the time. We do have that local page, but there's a lot of people that don't chat too much into it, and
or they're not aware of it because like you almost have to join the main Discord to find out about the other Discord. And personally, I was never on Discord or never had a Discord account until I started playing the Cubieverse, or Coin Hunt World as it was at the time. So got me into it. So we shall see. But yeah, no, I think it's
and I never heard of
yeah. Kind of controversial decision. So, but it is what it is, right? So, and honestly, really not a big deal to me because I think a lot of the structures around here are still, we've been building up. We got a lot of structures, which is great. And if one or two disappears, well, that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We just need to encourage players to keep playing, right?
like for you and I think like it's nice that we have other players in our city and around us, and I'm thankful for all the things that they've built. But I also feel that you and I are fairly self-sufficient with like we have one of everything up, at least one of everything, or the max of almost everything, with the exception of user vaults. But it's it's great for us at this point. But if one like if you were to stop playing and I continued to play, I would find it more of a challenge.
You just make me log in every couple months to make sure to keep things going. But,
Well,
we also have the advantage, though, of we've got a lot of, like, all of our structures and whatnot are built upon the vaults in our area, right? And a lot of those vaults start off as actual player vaults that have later got on converted into system vaults. So we've got this locked in kind of advantage of a ton of vaults in our area. I bet you, um, with the exception of Toronto and probably a few other places, I'm going to say like our density of vaults close to where we hunt is probably as good as most of the top locations of players, right out there.
Mm.
And that has
yeah.
been an advantage of that, right? And the chief has spoken, just made a comment, said he's been a solo player for 4 years. It's definitely a challenge, right? For sure. Now, I guess obviously the incentive here for you is to get other players playing, but as a new player, do you have that incentive, or you just decide I'm just gonna move on? So, so we'll see.
Well, I think even as a solo player for 4 years, like your bigger issues also are events. Like if you need to get like the Christmas event, the Chinese New Year event, where the trade shacks are important, and now you're limited to 3. Maybe they do need to increase the amount that you can get, that you can build.
For sure, yeah. No, that is definitely true. Because I think the Chinese New Year, the trade shacks were the big resource, right? And if trade shacks disappear or start disappearing, that would be that'd be detrimental, especially for new players trying to get off the ground. Could you imagine being a new player having a trade shack that someone built, and you start going to it, and then an event's happening, and suddenly those trade shacks just disappear mid-event or so? You'd be like, well, what the heck? So I don't know. Definitely a potential for some frustration. In the day, maybe they see a bigger picture, maybe they see something else, what's going on. Might have been just easier. It's probably just easier the code. I don't know. Not the direction personally I would have taken it, but probably won't affect us significantly, right? So, but I also know that we used to have a bunch more players locally, and a bunch of them moved on, right?
Ooh,
So,
welcome home.
Welcome, Magic Dragon.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
Sorry about that. Sorry. Oh, of course, we have another snowstorm. So the drive back from London was a little bit more hectic.
All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Where are we?
Well, we were just talking. So we've talked about the Bonk. We've talked about we're just talking the 4-month structures. Talked about the slow load of the game. So why don't you start off with telling us?
Was anybody else on the yay side for the 4-month structures, or am I alone in that?
You are. It looks like it's 2-1 on this conversation here.
Really?
And it used to be 2-0 before you joined. So.
Yes. Okay.
So why don't you give us your opinion on that, and then tell us about your week in the Cubieverse?
Okay. Well, first of all, my week in the Cubieverse was pretty good. Well, 0 on the trade shacks, but I got them.
What else is new?
And yeah, exactly. But in a odd turn of events, Bunch of O'Brien was also an offer on her trade shacks this week, and she even made a trip to London one point to get all the ones on Oxford.
Just
and she still got 0. She was like all baffled, not understanding what's going on. I'm like, that's how it normally works.
So before she left, were you rubbing her phone, giving it your
No.
good luck?
No, not honestly. I really like when she succeeds and gets the bonuses and stuff, because it gives me hope.
Yeah.
So I had a buddy quest. I think this week was Lady Champ.
Oh.
No, that was last week. Oh no. There was another good buddy quest though. And maybe it'll come to me. Sorry, I'm frantic right now. I should have looked this up before I came in. Lady Champ was last week. She was a good buddy quest. My buddy quest this week was good too. And if I can't remember by the end of the show, I'll do another shout out for them next week. Got my doing well. I'm tier 22, level 22 of Adventure Road, which we're snowed in a couple days, and we had our last Christmas celebration yesterday, so we can finally take our tree down. And yes, it's still up.
Hey,
but we
haven't finished
hosted another
Christmas.
party. We hosted another party yesterday, so it's okay. But yeah, I didn't buy anything. Did a couple of pizza quests. No, I didn't buy anything in the auction house. I am starting to look for a Missy now, though, because once I got the Hi U, I'm like, why am I constantly printing all of my Tiki Warrior blueprints? Why don't you just buy one for a lot less?
Right?
It kind of worked out, only if you're watching them at the right times. Because I know some of them can go for quite a bit. So I am on the lookout for a Missy and a Beatrix, plus some other OGs and stuff. I printed my second gift box, Cubie, and it was different.
Okay.
So I got a peekaboo. I got a peekaboo now. I didn't have a peekaboo before.
All right.
So I've got 2 of the 4.
If
I've got resources to print other ones. I'm just holding out and waiting.
if you want to buy a pre-made third one, whatever that one is, let me know. I have lots of all 3.
That's right.
I will let you know. As for so that's my week basically. It's I got what I could and did what I could and enjoyed it. Got some walking goals in. That was really nice. As for the 4-month thing, I'm very happy to hear that. I think it is very forward thinking in the game for long-term development and sustainability. I understand I built up Dorchester with a bunch of O'Briens by ourselves. We had W.R. Wilms. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Was the other one who would put some... No? There's 2 of them that are sort of the same. I can't remember. Sorry. There's another player who goes through here, drops some vaults in the past.
Didn't that one start?
Pardon?
I think that one started with an L, because he was the one commenting.
Lansing. Yes, you're right. Lansing's.
Yeah.
Lansing's. That's right. Thank you. Something I was just getting mixed up there for a second because I'm rushing around too much. So if we line away, there would still be a lot of dropped vaults here, system vaults and such, placed by the game. So you get started a lot more than before. There were no structures when I first started. So it's all a new thing. We all built it up. It was an enjoyable part of the game. We come to London once in a while for events because it makes it easier. Not that it's a necessity for the game, but it does make it easier for events. So I like having stuff there. If you guys all stop playing and your structure disappeared, there are still thousands of vaults in London that would make it easier if we ever made that drive.
Yep.
So there'd still be a benefit there. But I think the main benefit of it is it's really going to drive people to recruit new players and help them and get them into the game instead of players in other territories where people got booted for cheating or for quitting the game and they're done and trashing the game and everything. Yeah, those people, all their ghost accounts and backup accounts and everything, their structures are going to disappear. So if they want to replace them, they're going to legitimately get new players, I think. So that's why I think it's a model that is successful, or it can be duplicated rather than trying to get people to find shortcuts and cheats to get around things.
So I can agree that in the long term, yeah, it makes sense if you've got thousands of players looking for in the area trying to build space.
Right.
But in the short term, where we're trying to grow the population, what you're talking about though is basically existing players that have a stake in the game should be trying to recruit more people, which I think in general we try to do.
Yeah.
But if you just start download the game just at random because you're surfing the shop and your app,
Right.
and you download the game and you load in, then if there's no structures around you, you have no incentive. You're more likely to just shut the game down and never open it again.
It depends what you download the game for. Right? Like, as a casual player, I love it just for the trivia, even.
Right.
Yes, I mean, like, I enjoy it for the trivia. I love it. I love it for the events. I love it for the structures. I love it for all the other stuff. But I casually played it periodically for the first year just for the trivia, and I really enjoyed that. I do agree. I don't want to say agree. I don't disagree. 4 months is the number they picked for how long inactive you need to be and your structures disappear. I don't know how they chose 4 months. My first thought on the whole thing when they first said it, I was like, I'd have done it a year. A year gives people lots of notice, your things are going off. Then the more I thought about it, I'm like, a year's a long time. You get too comfortable. That's a year worth of other structures and everything, so you don't have to worry about finding new players. So I think some players maybe got too comfortable the way it is. Whereas I totally agree with you. If you're a new player who's like, oh, there's this new game, I get to do all these events, people are telling me this, they're telling me that, log it in. Well, where do I find a green vault? Oh, there's one in this town. Well, that's 30 minutes away. I got to go there to get a green vault. Well, what do I do? Where do I get a vending machine? Yeah, save up to build that, but there's also one 30 minutes away if you want to go get it for now. I can see how that would be
frustrating,
disappearing or frustrating, but
here's another thing. I enjoy trivia.
Yeah.
But this, after how long have we been playing? 3 years? Going on 3 years, Atrocities?
Over 3, definitely over 2 years, probably coming up on 3.
Yeah.
Like, some of it's getting monotonous. A lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's the same old questions, and you don't even have to use your brain about it. Like, you just...
Yeah.
But when they introduce new questions and new categories, that's always great, right? I love it.
Yeah.
But do it enough to make it... I think a lot of people who aren't playing anymore, the monotony of the same questions might be part of the reason they are kind of sick of playing the game. Or, as Magic Dragon said, if they're going to have to drive 30 minutes to get something, I don't know. Because you put as much time into this game as you want. The time you put in, the more successful you can be with building things in a time frame.
3 years, 28 days.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Okay.
So, anyways, if you don't have time to be putting something in, like a huge amount of time in, and
it's got to be tough for them to figure out what's that way. But the core of the game, to me, is still about walking, improving your health, the trivia, and the other stuff. The events are just extra bonuses. Yeah. I don't know if that's what I think, right? So if I was still trying to walk my 8 goals in Dorchester, and look, along the way I get to answer trivia, monitor my goals, and slowly build up crypto and exports over the X amount of time or whatever. I'm kind of okay with that. There's a lot more the game could be, and a lot more to it.
But if the game is truly about walking, why are they deleting the structures that are now going to make somebody drive half an hour away to get some more structures or get
you need the structures to walk and get all the vaults in your area. Even in my little town of Dorchester, if there were no structures here or anything, I could still do my loop, get my 6 to 8 walking goals, 45 vaults a day with no structures. I could still do that, still improve my health, get my cardio, whatever, blah blah blah.
Well,
and play trivia.
I
So-
was I was out at an open house today, and
Yep.
around it was a newer area, and around the house that I was at, I could circle it around and see one vault. Like
Yeah.
if you like a lot of areas, I guess is what I'm trying to say, are very vacant, vault vacant, at least in this city. As Atrocities mentioned, our area was pre-built by people that played Coin Hunt World well before we even joined, and that was
Right.
great. But if you were like, how many
And all
vaults? How
those
many,
and all those vaults are now permanently locked in the game as system vaults. Which we
Right.
Take advantage
Yeah.
of.
So maybe
But-
they're going to make an adjustment to POI and everything, right? Like maybe they're gonna. The one thing about the game is they've always got multiple things on the back burners going, and generally reasons for doing things,
Right.
whether we know them or not. We're kind of cursed and blessed that the developers are so open and forthcoming with us.
Mhm.
And we usually know well in advance what's going on, and we've still got there's so many side games and side aspects of the game still coming.
Mhm.
So maybe this benefits that in some way.
Mhm.
So that I think I understand the burden it's going to put on me, because I'm going to lose some vaults and structures that we like to frequent once in a while. I understand it's probably going to be, I don't know, but devastating to any OG players.
What vaults and
I
It
structures?
might be,
I think the OGs will be fine. I think it's the newer
yeah,
players that are.
yeah. So I'm saying I don't think it'll devastate anyone. I
Thing
think,
is, like, you might start the game and as a new player and not know what was previously there, so you don't know that.
Yeah.
If look, 2 months ago, the area that you're in had like all these structures around, but they're not there anymore. So
Right. Yeah. So it's going to be different. People are probably going to start to recruit players who are closer to them, because then they can use the same structures that they're already using, and
Right.
not say, "Hey, I know there's these structures here and everything. You can benefit off those." Oh, well, now they're not. So
But
it-
if we were going to recruit players, then I think we would have already have done that.
maybe,
I know,
but
like,
this
we do
this
try to
is more of
recruit.
a push. Pardon?
Right? We've
We
tried
do-
to recruit, right? Whenever the opportunity comes up, meet people, try to recruit. But I've got like one referral link on my account, so
Right.
and that's probably
Well-
close to 3 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I trust in them that they have a direction that they're going.
Yeah.
And I do think it's nice to purge. I don't like using the word cheater. Violators of terms of service. There. It's nice to purge some of those violators of the terms of service to make it to increase the integrity of the game, right?
But how do you know they're violating the terms of service? Like, there's somebody who like a couple that plays up further north of us that keeps playing because they're sick of everything. Like, they weren't going to do anything past they weren't going to participate in the Halloween event, but then participated lightly in it. And then they were going to be by the end of October, and then they're putting Christmas trees up that we randomly found. And it's
people are going to be frustrated all the time. They vent their frustrations. There's two types of people. Like, not to stereotype or minimize anybody, but there's those who threaten to quit the game and those who quit the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's I don't know, a couple times a year, anyways. I'm like, okay, I'm not playing anymore. And I open it up at 7:00 and I get my keys and I see what the challenges are and I go for my walk or do the challenges and I'm playing the game again.
That was only once during the Nutcracker escapade, but
right?
Tanners wants to play the devil's advocate. What would cause you to build if you can hit other structures? other people's structures?
Well, I think one, trade checks. The more trade checks you get, the better.
Yeah.
Right? There are certain structures that you want access to, but you don't necessarily need to build. Right? And that would be, in my mind, the the export terminal. What's that called? The
Vending machine?
vending machine. I always forget that. You don't necessarily need to build that. You don't necessarily need to build an advanced print shop. You just want to have access to those, right?
Right.
Yeah, you don't need to print a vending machine if one's or
Right.
build a vending machine if one's around.
But trade shacks, the more trade shacks you have access to, the better. Once again, no real advantage of building them and owning them, but the more you have, it contributes to the community. Same with pizza shops and sushis. As you know, you got a pizza in your area now. I'm sure you're thinking, geez, if we had 2 or 3 or 4 more pizza shops, this would be awesome.
Well, for
right?
your cube.
So
for leveling up and everything. Yeah,
leveling up.
We're still building. We're building slowly. I'm looking at, for Dorchester, it's like a microcosm of the bigger issue, right, or the bigger game. And if there were structures here, like, we still want to build our own structures, like both of us. So we still want to own everything. That's part of the game. So we built our trade shacks. We built this. She built a pizza shop. I'm going to build a sushi. We're going to have everything here in Dorchester. If there were things here already, I would still want mine. I see what you're saying. Like, what's your motivation to buy it or to build it? But I don't want to give my Chibi coins or earn back the rewards to somebody else. I'd rather get the keys myself, right? I had the green vault here in town. We built another. She built a green vault finally. Now she gets a green key every week as well. So that's kind of nice,
For sure. And it's also a lot less frustrating when you're sinking green keys into its structure because you can't get it right when it's your own structure, right?
I'm laughing because I'm pretty good at the green questions, especially with this month's categories. So I'm only one key at a time, but I'm using hers and I get right on the first question. She's like, perfect. I'm like, yeah. She goes, I really like it when you use more green keys than my green vault. Well, I'm sure you would. She just wants to eat my keys. Like, just gotta laugh. It's a fun game, right? Now, if I was playing alone,
nice.
I don't know. Nice. It's tough, right? Like, if I download the game by myself, and I wouldn't be looking at it at events and stuff. I'd just be looking at it for the walking. I might build a structure eventually. This is the negative, I think, of it. Had I never used a fountain in London, I probably wouldn't be wanting to get a fountain here in Dorchester.
They're awesome, aren't they?
Well, they're not bad. I like them for certain things, right? It's a great idea.
They're awesome for having.
The coffee shop, like, I think for some people they're going to get the paints and everything and realize the benefits of that. So maybe now they want a coffee shop. It's nice. 4 months gives people time. I don't know.
All right.
I still think it's the right direction to go. Getting rid of them. 4 months seems like a reasonable time.
Okay,
Here's
another comment.
They're refunding structures. They're not just destroying them, right?
But if you're not paying, and you get funded for your structure, and your mailbox can only be keeping stuff in it for 30 days, you're never going to get refunded. It's going to go in there, and it's going to go unclaimed.
Ooh, good point. Good point.
I don't know. Does it go to your mailbox, or do they just refund it?
Everything comes in through your mailbox. So
I understand that, but I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering, is there a thought that's a way to destroy it? Because there's a 4 month. So really, are they saying all of your account stuff disappears after 5 months? Is that the way it is? You get 4 months inactive and then a month of mailbox carry. Huh.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. No one has ever actually talked about that
Yeah.
point there, Gold Miner. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. I just assumed you got your stuff back. You're like,
Yeah.
but
But
yeah,
it
it makes I never even considered or thought about having to retrieve it from the mailroom.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
atrocities. When you got rid of your coffee shop during that time that they were rebating you back if you wanted to get rid of it, where did that
that
go
all
into?
came in mail. That all came in mail, and I opened up boxes and I saw what it is. Plus, the other thing with that too was that that coffee shop. When I put that in, it wiped out a white vault. When they got rid of the coffee shop, that white vault never came back. Right, the white system vault.
Right.
So
bug report.
that should be. I mean, those should have come back.
Yeah, I imagine that could just be a
Right.
bug reporter just mention it, right? I have the same fear. I built a advanced print shop in the same plaza, right beside a regular print shop, but it's at a grocery store here in town because I actually sent in a report said, hey, there's no print shop anywhere near me like that I can walk to or anything. Can you put one in a location in Dorchester? Instantly, like, yeah, sure. Where were you thinking? I gave them a location. They said, that's not bad, but how about here? I'm like, perfect. Put it there. They put it there. I think we lost 2 or 3 vaults. I'm like, oh no, I didn't know I was going to lose vaults. So now I want to maybe get them to destroy the regular print shop because now we have an advanced print shop and you can print from home. But I want to talk about getting those vaults back too.
Yeah.
So Channers commented, "Why would you need your stuff back if you've stopped playing?" Totally agree with, but Illusion we say that you would be back for those.
Often people will play a game, whatever, and then maybe they hang
forget
it
about it,
whatever, and then come back to it like a year later and say, you know what, I really enjoyed playing that. They log into their old, and I'm going to start playing again. You log into your old account and nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and,
what if
you paid for those things, right? A lot of people buy crystal keys. They're spending money. They're investing in the game, not to just have it suddenly disappear just because they took a hiatus.
Okay, so here's an idea. You were obviously we're Canadian, we don't have as much of this, but what if you were in the States, in the military, and got sent overseas for 8 months and can't get into your game?
Oh, for any reason. For any reason. If we come up with specific reasons, then you can argue specific instances.
As long as you're not going to Gitmo, you should be in a country that you can play the game
in. In a game-wide system that everybody can be, it's your account, you invested in it. Sure, you can lose your structures, but you should get refunded well, I don't know if you should or not. Yeah, like if they're arbitrarily deciding the timeline, like if you don't play the game for 4 months, your structures are destroyed. Now, if you don't log in for 5 months, you also lose all your investment that you put into those structures. If you don't play for an entire year, your account gets shut down.
Right.
It could be, but something like that needs to be agreed to in the.
What if I go to jail for 20 years, and then and through no fault of my own, and I come back and I want to play again?
Well,
start over.
Who says use your butt phone? But
and obviously the chat's all going off on being in jail, so I'm just riffing off the chat. So
so, just to interrupt, it's almost 10 after 9.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I have a buddy quest at 9:30. We still have to clear the car off from all the snow.
Yeah.
So I think we've definitely beaten that topic to death. So let's go with the code, and we'll
talk about briefly, and we can do it with a couple sentences. Hopefully, we're right this time. But Hunter's Lodge should be next Sunday afternoon at 2 Eastern Time, as usual. The 26th, I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
I think it's next week. I know last I looked it was before the Cubieverse or
Chinese New
Chinese New Year starts, so it's got to be next Sunday. But do your own research. Check on the Discord.
And one last comment: show your cellmates all your cubies and make new friends and do some. Great
Yeah.
idea.
I don't want to
So-
be doing
Did we already give away the loot code?
I don't want to be doing a prison buddy quest.
No, we did not. I have the
Oh,
loot.
okay.
It is, I believe, the same as last week's, as in the what you get out of it.
Okay.
It's use code, and the code is 6985.
69.
85.
6985.
All right, I'm
Awesome.
going to put that in the chat. 6985.
6985. So happy hunting. Thanks for joining us tonight. Don't forget to go get that loot code this evening.
Yeah, please like, subscribe,
Excellent.
comment below.
And I'll try to be on time next week.
All right,
Bye.
thanks a lot.
Family first, always.
Okay,
Anyways,
everybody, thanks for joining.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.